Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. Once again, happy 4th of July, just for another 45 minutes or so. Tonight's meal is a modified tortilla soup with ground turkey, onions, garlic, little red chili pepper, little curry paste, a couple other things, rice, beans. I had my concerns, but it really is quite tasty. They are black-eyed peas. Sorry, not beans. And I have some tortillas here, which I'm pretty much just using as a flatbread. So I'm going to just go ahead and put those in my soup here so they get happy. Now, I was kind of struggling with what to talk about this time around. As I may have mentioned a couple of videos ago, and I'm not sure what order these are all going up in, so maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. More sun tea. But it's been a pretty busy month. Things have been a little bit hectic, and I haven't had as much time to do videos as I would like. And then there's the whole flip move thing too. You know, he's been busy, so we haven't had a chance to do the Denton, Texas podcast thing. And I'm not sure if we'll be picking that up because, again, for a bit, because things are just a little bit up in the air. I wanted to talk for a minute about something that kind of is a little bit weird maybe, but I've had some issues with friendships over my time being, homeless and everything. And don't get me wrong, there have been a few friends who've really helped me out, but I've got a friend or two now, though, that have been kind of going downhill since the last time I saw them. And probably the people, the person or two that I'm talking about wouldn't watch these videos. I mean, they might. I'm not going to mention name, unlike they tend to do. See, I think that when I was in China, I was still pretty young. I went over there when I was like 28, and there was a lot of stuff I kind of wanted to get out of my system. There were girls, there was a lot of drinking, there was a lot of partying, there was a lot of this, that. A lot of excess. I kind of did those things because I didn't really have a great chance to do them while I was in the States, when I was even younger. So I kind of used China to take advantage of that a little bit. And a lot of it was fun. But, when I hit 30 while I was over there, I just kind of lost my taste for stuff like that. I'd had all the lady parts that I think, a girl's lady parts sort of start to feel like, or they all start to feel the same, kind of, at one point or another. So, it wasn't like I was, like, in a rush to go, get that. Not to mention that, there's always safety issues with being promiscuous like that. And then I sort of, now, I think that there are many ways that, like, a person can be immature even when they're, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. But there are certain ways in which we're supposed to grow, I think. And I kind of, for lack of a better term, I kind of did that. I had room to grow and still do in some ways. But that whole, part of yourself into oblivion thing just sort of became unappealing. I mean, that's the only really real way to say it. And once it's become unappealing, well, at least for me, I didn't really want to be around it too much anymore. But then I came home and sort of wound up homeless. So I had to take help from, basically whoever offered it. And I moved in with a couple of friends of mine I met at work. And it was alright. I may have mentioned them in passing before. They had a little bit of an alternative lifestyle. They were not exclusive, or they considered themselves swingers. The dude wasn't really doing much swinging. Pretty much him watching his girl get wrecked by a bunch of his friends, which isn't really what he wanted, but I suppose he figured if he was going to get what he wanted, he had to get her what she wanted, and she was very persuasive in one way or another. I wound up with her for a while. And that's kind of another story. But at some point, I don't know, it just got to where it was very hard for her to be around him, because he was really interested in just playing video games all day, didn't have a job. And, eventually, he got asked to go. And this guy's only a couple of years younger than me. So, things just got kind of weird after that. And then eventually, she was sort of out of both of our pictures. She just decided that she didn't need either of us. Which sucked. No guy likes getting told that he's unwanted. But she had to reiterate it to him on multiple occasions. And such. Well, he and I ended up living together again for a while. And he seemed better. We'd spent a few months apart, things had settled down. So, he seemed cool when we were living together this last time. And then I ended up moving. I ended up coming up here. and or I ended up moving across town with some other people that decided they were willing to look after me for a while. I lost my apartment, so I was out on the street, and they took me in for a little bit. So again, you take help where it comes, and they just sort of came out of the blue. So I took that help. But one of their big rules is don't bring shady friends to the house. And this guy's kind of bordering on shady, real shady, kind of. So I wound up moving up here, where what I observed on his wall and in conversations with him is that he had to move out of where he was living at the time. The people he moved in with were real kind of into the party thing. So he got back into it and just kind of proceeded to sort of screw his money away and just have these meaningless random relationships, NSA relationships, no strings attached. Kind of hurt a couple girls along the way, I believe he mentioned, because they really like the guy and he just wants to have sex. And then I kind of moved up here. I started associating with him a little bit less, and then I moved up here, and things just started getting worse and worse and worse on his front. And I just, look at his Facebook wall, and it'd just be covered with, just a bunch of meaningless bullshit when this guy, really needs to concentrate on getting his life together, because it's semi-messed up. It's really messed up. He's given his ex a hard time occasionally. She's already married and having a baby, and, it was it was kind of an awkward situation, and I was glad to kind of be away from it. But I'd unintentionally, or not unintentionally, I had not really promised the guy, but I said I'd do my best to maybe get him up here and, get him into the job market and such. And I'm sorry about the noise next door. It is the 4th. But just to sort of shorten the story a bit, I just kind of decided that I didn't really want his type of element around me. Kind of a man-ho who, is constantly in trouble. And I'll be right back with part B.